So last summer, my buddy Alfred helped me dig a pond, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for it to fill up. I've had a couple of close calls, but it's never gotten entirely full. Until now. That's right, with the entire snow melt of the spring happening right now, all of the snow and water's come down from the hill, and it's filled up our pond. And since we have a nice blustery spring day today, I figured it'd be the perfect time to let the Quacken go out to the pond. Okay, ducks, let's go, let's go. Let's go, duckaree-doos. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. Come on, out we go. No, don't go under there. You guys don't know what you're missing. They're actually really not used to being sent out of the paddock. I haven't really let them out much since the last time I let them go swim in the pond. Let's go, let's go. Out we go, ducks. Out, out, out. Time to get some fresh air, some fresh water. Let's go. Nope, don't go up the ramp. I know usually that's where I send you. It'll just take one of you to get it, then the rest of you follow suit. Come on, ducks. Well, where are you going? Where are you going, guys? Don't mind the geese. Come on, big old Samson. Hey, hey, hey. Whoa. Nope, 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 nope. Whoop. I don't want you going to Toby's house. Come on. Let's go. You guys are going to be so happy once you get down there. Hey, buddy. Can you help me? I could use your help, Toby. Come on, ducks. Let's go. Let's go, ducky ducks. There you go. Now you guys got the spirit. Oh, yeah. Look what you got. So the pond is still a little bit frozen on top. It's about 36 degrees, 35, 36 degrees right now, about, I don't know, 1 o'clock. And I waited this long because I actually wanted to let the ice melt a little bit. But they're having a little trouble getting into the water. I'm gonna try to help them out. Oof. I don't wanna go in too far though. I definitely would fall in. This is deep water here. Are you keeping watch of the ducks there, Toby? You're doing your job, buddy. You're doing real good. Right there is Jemima Puddleduck. She's actually the oldest duck in the flock at this point. She's the mother of Samson, who's that other white duck that you see right there on the screen. Looks like she's having a little trouble getting out of the water. There she goes. Okay. Kind of nice to see the ducks in their natural environment, being able to just sort of be out here feeding on things, eating some of the fresh shoots and plants and maybe some of the nesting insects. They really seem happy. It's also good to see Toby doing his job out here as well. It's really exciting to me that the pond is really filled up like this. This has been a plan that I've had going for, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years now, where I would actually create a duck pond. And You know, the patience of, you know, digging it and waiting, I don't know, 9 months or so for the thing to finally fill up with water has been really rewarding. You'll notice though, the whole back pasture here is going to stay kind of a swamp probably till mid to early May, somewhere along there. If you look back at like last year, for example, right? You know, this was always sort of a swimming area in the early spring. We would also have wild ducks show up, and so it's part of the habitat. That's just the way, the cycle of the land and the farm. I've talked about this before, but I think one of the most important things that people who are getting land and planning a homestead or planning a farm should do is just wait a little bit and see what happens with the land and see what happens from season to season. You know, when I actually first bought this place, my initial instinct was to try to build like a big barn right in this area. But if you look at what's going on right now, you could see just how faulty of an idea that would be, because it would turn into a muddy, mucky mess every spring. And so by having the patience and just waiting and watching, I've really seen that, you know, this type of land right here is actually best suited for something like a pond. And just look how happy those ducks are. That right there makes it all worth it to me. All right, now it's time to kick this little experiment up a notch. Let's go get the geese and bring them out here as well. I think they're gonna really like it too.
Nothing can possibly go wrong. Possibly go wrong.
So I let the geese out earlier today. They've been just sort of wandering around the farm, munching on the grass. What's up, Pablo? Keeping watch of things, huh? Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. So far, the ducks and geese are cohabitating together pretty well. Usually what happens is the geese tend to bully the ducks, but because there's so much space, nobody's looking to really be all that territorial right now, so it should be fine. I know I've mentioned this a little bit before, but one of my big projects that I'm planning this year is actually fencing in this whole area. So if you think about the part of the pasture that we're standing in right now, I want to basically put in a 5-foot perimeter fence with a hot wire along the top. I'd ultimately let both the ducks and the geese really free range out here during the day. I'd have Toby and perhaps another dog running out here, doing guard duty, keeping the predators at bay. And so between the fence and the dogs, I'd feel like they'd be generally pretty safe out here. As you know, back here you see these trees and like these lines of trees. And well, those trees are basically a mix of chestnut, elderberry, mulberry, apple, black locust, butternut. I got some hazelnut in. I have no idea what that was all about. So I have all of these plants growing back there. I'd also be looking to actually sow some annual crops right here in the area that floods. Like perhaps I might plant rice or other things, with the whole idea of being that this is feed for the animals. They're able to get fat off the land over the summer, and then I harvest some of them in the fall. In longer term, that'll probably include some other types of animals too, like maybe some pigs or maybe some cows or maybe a little bit of both. But that's not gonna happen in 2020. The plan really here is just to build the foundation for the system, you know, really starting with the ducks and geese, continuing with the trees, and also having certain things like the water and earthwork stuff like the pond going. I also have swales and berms all the way up and down that hill. Those swales and berms capture water too. What are you doing, geese? You guys are getting a little wild. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Might be getting a little amorous and some of the other girls might not like it. So it seems like the ducks and geese are pretty satisfied and happy with hanging out here in the pond. I'm actually gonna go up to the trees and check on some things and see what's starting to pop and see if I'm getting any buds or any growth. Come on, Toby dog, let's go. Okay, we're now back in the permaculture orchard. As I've talked about this in past videos, right? The permaculture orchard is about a 6.5 acre area. It consists of roughly 600 trees. I've probably lost a few trees over this winter, so it's a bit less than that if I had to guess. It's a mixed orchard, so meaning I didn't really try to have like one single crop. I intentionally interplanted several different types of trees. And each row that you see actually has a different pattern of trees. The reason for this is because I want to actually have trees broken up and not too close together from the same species, because usually pests are going to attack a cluster of trees. If I only have one tree and then several other different types of trees, it gives it a chance of breaking up the pest cycle. This is an idea that I got from my buddy Stefan Subkowiak. He's a orchardist and really just smart dude who lives up in the Quebec area. He does something known as Permaculture Orchard. You should go check that out and go check out his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link down for it below. But really brilliant guy. And so that's where I got the idea to do the types of plantings that I've done here. So when I talk about like the planting patterns, right? It means like I have a chestnut tree right here in this tree tube. I have an apple tree right here in standing right here. So here's that little apple tree. I used to have Siberian pea shrub planted in this row, but for whatever reason, something ate all my Siberian pea shrub. I think it might be the deer, which is unfortunate. I planted everything back in the fall of 2017. It's been slow growth. I haven't really done much to manage it other than trying to mow every so often and add mulch to the trees every so often and maybe add a little compost. My dream is, though, that one day that this is like a dehesa, much like I found in Spain, and it's just like acres and acres of trees. You guys want to take off a tree tube and see how this one's doing right here? So yeah, this chestnut tree is doing really well. We've got buds forming, so that means like kind of the growth of spring is starting to happen. It's getting pretty tall. It's probably just a little shy of 6 feet. Ultimately, this will probably grow above the tree tube this year. I've got some of my chestnut trees already starting to poke up above the tree tubes, but most of them are just about tree tube height right now, and so I'm hoping for some really good growth this year. I also think that these tree tubes help give the trees a little bit of an early head start in spring and a little... Oh no! Sorry about that, guys. It's so windy out here today. I think they do a good job protecting against deer and against rodents. Deer damage has been one of the biggest things killing my trees as of late. It's been a persistent problem. And so a lot of my higher value trees like the chestnut and butternut, I protect with those white plastic tree tubes. To show you an example of what I mean when I talk about the tree damage from the deer, this is a good one to look at. I mean, this is one of my biggest trees in the entire permaculture orchard. I'd say it's at least 12 feet, if not more. It's huge, it's beautiful, it's a black locust. But if you look at that trunk, right, you can see sort of all sorts of rubbing's been happening right along the base of that trunk, all the way up and down. Probably some sort of deer. You can also see a snapped off branch right there that probably came off in the fall. And so yeah, the deer have done a number on this black locust tree. I really hope it bounces back. Black locust trees in general are pretty resilient trees. That's actually why I didn't cover them in tree tubes. Black locusts also have their own form of protection. And if you can see these like gigantic thorns that are sitting out here. And so animals generally don't like to mess with them, but I guess I have some deer that are messing with them right now. So while we're out here, there was actually one other thing I wanted to show you. So you'll notice these little trenches, right? So for each row of trees that I have like a swale and berm. So the swale is the ditch, which is currently filled with snow. The berm is this higher part where I have trees planted. The reason I did this is because I wanted to be able to trap water as it comes down this hill. So while I do have a lot of water that's pooling down there, there's still even more getting trapped in here. As the snow melts, it's going to continue to trap in here, and these turn into like little creeks in the mid-spring period, all the way into early summer. What's nice about that is it provides additional water for these trees. And it's part of the whole plan that I had for the orchard. You know, with the use of an excavator, you can do all sorts of things to transform the land on your farm for a very, very long time. But again, I don't encourage people rushing into that. Take your time, observe the land, see what happens before you try to take action. It really is kind of cool to see the farm that we're creating here. I think back to about 2 years ago when I started making regular videos on YouTube, and it's just sort of amazing to see the evolution that's happened. If you guys are actually curious about one of those early tours of the permaculture orchard, and I go into a lot of details about why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I'm planting, you should check it out. It's a good little video, even though you can see just how different the old videos were versus these new videos. I will see you guys over there. Thanks.